My name's Maury, and I like to fix shit. Hi everyone, welcome to my backyard. We're out here instead of the shop because this week I am working on a DIY pool heater. I've gone through 2 iterations so far, and we're going to work on the 3rd one today. And I'm going to take you through the history. This is version number 1. This is the bottom half of a Home Depot bucket with the element from a small electric hot water tank. The wires are connected on that side, and I've got an extension cord that gets plugged into an outlet in my backyard. This version was great. Basically, it sits on the surface of the water and it floats there because of the bucket, and you can leave it in overnight. It will bring the pool temperature up by a couple degrees on a small kiddie pool, which is what I was using at the time, and it works pretty well. You take it out when the kids are in there. Not that you're going to burn yourself on it, because the element never gets hotter than the temperature of the water, but if you pulled it out of the water and left it plugged in, that's when you would burn yourself. Version number 2 works in much the same way, as it still has the same type of element in it. The difference is that this time we had a small pump and a filter that would circulate water through the pool. So instead of going through the filter and then straight back into the pool, I took one of the hoses, added it into the bottom. It would swirl water around the element, and then this lid goes on the top, and we'd go out. The warmed water would go out the top of the lid and then into the pool. That's been working pretty well, although we've had some cool summers the last couple of years that we've used it, and it's just still not quite enough to keep the pool warm. It maybe prevents it from losing some temperature overnight when it cools down, but not enough to really get it as warm as we'd like it.
Warning, do not try this at home.
So now that you've seen the history, let's talk about where I want to go with this. This is version 3 of the pool heater, and what I'm going for is something that's more compact and a little bit user-friendly compared to the other 2 versions. So to make it compact, most of it's going to fit inside this 3-inch ABS pipe that I have. Then I've got a couple connectors for the ends that will let water in and let water out. We're going to start by drilling the hole for the element. And I'm through. This is the piece that's going to go on the outlet, and I'm going to use, looks like about 1 3/4 inches. Let me see what I got that'll fit that. The closest size I get is this 2-inch one that fits over it nicely. We'll use that. This one doesn't have to be quite as exact. Let's check the fit. Very nice. So this part needs to go on the inside, and that's a tiny bit big. So I'm going to grind down the outside here, and I don't really care if this screen comes off or not. I ground down the outside of this, and now it fits. So I'm going to put the rubber washer on and drop it down in. And there's a piece that threads onto the back. And now we have our outlet. Here are all the pieces from beginning to end. We've got the element and the bottom cap. Then I've got this T. I have to thread this pipe to match this fitting. This is where the water will come in and go past the element up through this connector that I'll use to be able to take it apart and clean it. out through the top cap and into the pool. It's time for some glue. I'm using gloves because this stuff turns your hands black and it doesn't come off ever. I found this piece of metal that matches the threads on that guy, so I'm going to put some silicone around it and tighten it down, and it'll be ready after it sets to glue up tomorrow. Well, here she is in all her glory, all glued up. It's electrical time. Because our element that we're using is 4,500 watts, I've done the math and it tells me that I need a 30 amp cable. I've got this extension cord from an old RV power hookup, which is rated for 30 amps and way more volts than we're ever going to use. However, it's got the wrong ends on it. So I got some new ends here. I'm gonna put a new end on one end, and the other end we're going to cut off, and that's going to get connected onto our water heater. This plug can either be set up for a 30 amp or a 50 amp. We're going to set it up to be the 30 amp. this is my first test setup. We're going from the pool into the pump and into the heater. Heater is plugged in over there to the garage. I've got a tiny bit of leaking coming from over here, so I'm gonna have to investigate that, but we can still test it out. I'm gonna go flip the breaker and see what happens. It is turned on. No one's been electrocuted. We're sitting at about 24 degrees now in the pool. Let's see what happens over the next hour or two. It's been a couple hours and we seem to be at about 26 degrees. So we're getting about a degree per hour, and there's also some losses from evaporation. So I'm pleased with this. Everything is installed now and running. I fixed the problem I had with my leak, so I replaced it with this guy and a little metal piece of pipe there, which helps me kill two birds with one stone, because now the metal pipe allows me to ground the pool.
Thanks for watching and see you next time.